Welcome and thank you for standing by. Currently, all participants are in a listen-only mode. Today's webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be posted publicly. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I'd like to turn the call over to your presenter for today, Noelia Musignac.
Thank you, Lisa. Good day, everyone. My name is Noelia Gonzalez Musignac, and I am a data dissemination specialist with the United States Census Bureau. I'm one of several specialists throughout the country that are available to conduct trainings, give presentations, and provide assistance with inquiries for several types of stakeholders. I particularly am responsible for the state of Florida and support Puerto Rico. However, my colleagues and I cover each other's properties from time to time, so you can definitely get any of us to help you. So I want to thank you for attending today's webinar covering Puerto Rico. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So if you could hold your questions till then, we'll be able to answer them then. And I believe everyone's on mute, so we don't have to worry about having mute. And then also we will have a survey at the end to let us know how we're doing, if we're meeting your needs, if the training was good, if you could hear me well, all of those things. So you will see that pop up, and the link will be in there. You'll get a pop-up. You can go ahead and click OK. It states it's from the government, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So today, we're going to start with our objectives. We're going to do a census data overview. We're going to go over some census geography, particularly the geography that's created by the Census Bureau. And I want to share with you some of the differences and different purposes between a decennial census and an American Community Survey and the Puerto Rico Community Survey. We'll talk about some online tools and resources. We'll go online and I'll show you how to get some of that data. And then as promised, I'll reserve some time at the end for questions before we wrap up. So let's start with that overview about UN Census data. So the U.S. Census Bureau as a whole does more than just count people every 10 years. So we're actually the largest of 17 primary federal government statistical agencies. During the decennial census, we're the second largest employer in the United States. So while we are best known for the decennial census here in the States and Puerto Rico, we also conduct more than 100 censuses and surveys of households and businesses across the nation each year. And this includes the ACS and the PRCS and more than 30 other household surveys. We also conduct over 60 economic programs, with the economic census being the largest and most comprehensive. And FYI, the results for the economic census of 2022 for Puerto Rico are estimated to be released in June of 2025, so look out for that. So overall, the Census Bureau's mission is to serve as the nation's leading provider of quality data about its people and economy, and our goal really is to provide the best mix of timeliness, significance, quality, and cost for the data that we collect and the services that we provide. So it's important that we look at census geography and how that works. Obviously, geography is very important for us here at the Census Bureau. Geography drives how we collect data and how we build it all up to get to the national level, right? So if you follow the spine of this slide, you can follow it from the national level all the way down to the census block level. However, you can only get to the census block level data when we have a decennial census. At all other times, the lowest geography we have is a block group. So under nation, we have regions, and we have 4 regions in the United States. You can get data at the regional level. Then you can get data for any one of our states, obviously. You can get data for any one of the counties in this country. And for counties, when you're looking at geography for Puerto Rico, those are what we call municipios, right? So that's what you're going to click on if you're looking for a municipio of Puerto Rico. Then we have our census tracts. So census tracts are small statistical subdivisions within a county with populations of 1,200 to 8,000 people. So think your small towns, your rural areas, your neighborhoods. Block groups are a group of blocks within a census tract with about 600 to 3,000 people. And then last but not least, the lowest geography that you see on this chart is your census block, and it is the lowest geography, and the data is only produced during the time of the decennial. Now, in Puerto Rico, a few of the geographies are named differently, as I mentioned with the municipios. And another difference that I think is important is that you should know that barrios or pueblos are referred to as places. So if you're looking for information on a barrio or a pueblo, then you would look under places. So this screen shows how smaller geographies nest inside other geographies. It looks a little complex, I know. But on this slide, we'll show you how the geography nests within each other. So in this census geography, you can see here on the right side of the census block, 3001, with its boundaries. That census block joins other blocks, and they become a block group. And so block groups come together with other block groups, and they become a census tract. And now the census tract, of course, is nested into a county or a municipio. So let's talk about these three surveys, the decennial census, the American Community Survey, and the Puerto Rico Community Survey, and the differences between them all. So let's start with the decennial census, a little quick history. So the first census of the United States was conducted in 1790, and it occurred every 10 years with one form being used to collect data from all households until 1930. From 1940 to 2000, the decennial census included a short form and used to collect data from all households, and a long form that was used to collect data from a sample of households. Now, the long form approach worked well at first, but the data became less and less current as the decade progressed after each decennial census. We just started building and building and being more and more populated that the numbers just weren't making sense anymore. So in the early 1990s, the demand for current nationally consistent data led policymakers to consider the possibility of collecting social, economic, and housing data continuously throughout the decade. So after a large-scale demo in 2000, the ACS was then fully realized in 2005 and began collecting data for all of America's communities each year. And of course, we also had the Puerto Rico Community Survey, which is the equivalent of the ACS in Puerto Rico. The American Community Survey, excuse me. So let's move on to the basics and foundation of the survey. So the ACS is the United States' most current, reliable, and accessible data source for local stats on critical planning topics. The survey continuously samples roughly 3.5 million addresses each year to produce annual social, economic, housing, and demographic estimates. And this data is used to distribute more than $2 trillion of federal government spending each year. So our estimates cover more than 40 topics, and they support more than 300 known federal uses and countless non-federal uses. We have our one-year estimates, is a combination of data that's collected over 12 months, and that's available for geographic areas with a population of 65,000 or more. The one-year supplemental estimates, which are a subset of detailed tables that are available for geographic areas with a population of 20,000 or more. Then we have our 5-year estimates, and those combine data collected over 60 months and are available for geographic areas of all sizes down to the census tract and block group level. So let's talk about the content that's collected by the ACS. It can be grouped into 4 main characteristics. We have our social, demographic, economic, and housing. So our social characteristics include topics like education, marital status, fertility, veterans, disability status, and place of birth. The ACS also collects the basic demographic characteristics collected on the decennial census, such as the age, the sex, the race, the Hispanic origin. And then the economic characteristics collected include topics like employment status, income, occupation, industry, health insurance. And finally, we have our housing characteristics. And the characteristics collected here include tenure, information about the occupancy and the structure itself, which includes the home value and housing costs. Such costs include mortgages, taxes, insurance, utilities, plumbing, kitchen facilities, and a bunch others. So as I mentioned before, each question on the ACS is used for federal and state government programs. So these topics are used to produce more than 1,000 tables for local communities, leading to more than 11 billion estimates each year. Now, this is the Puerto Rico Community Survey. As I said, it's known in Puerto Rico as La Encuesta Comunidad de Puerto Rico. And like the ACS, it provides data on a yearly basis, really informs communities about information regarding any change that's been occurring within their geography, so they can make informed policy decisions. The Puerto Rico Community Survey is part of the American Community Survey. It was actually customized rather than just merely translated and then distributed in Puerto Rico. So we actually took the time to look at the concepts in the ACS, whether they translated to Puerto Rico, and in some instances, they just didn't. So we had to customize it for Puerto Rico. So the form, the Puerto Rico Community Survey, is produced in Spanish and English. Some of the data points we collect, you can see here, ranging from age down to race to disabilities, is the same type of data that's collected in the American Community Survey. Now, there are some distinct differences between the American Community Survey and the Puerto Rico Community Survey. Obviously, the first thing is the color of the form. The ACS is in green, the PRCS is in purple. The ACS is distributed in English, but a respondent can request it in Spanish, and that's available. And contrarily, the Puerto Rico Community Survey is printed and distributed in Spanish, and a respondent could also request it in English. Data collection also differs a bit. With the ACS here in the United States, we collect data electronically by internet, by snail mail, or via in-person follow-up. And so there's three opportunities that you have to respond to the American Community Survey. So the Puerto Rico Community Survey only has two methods. We do not have the collection of data at the internet availability at the moment, so we only collect it by mail or in person. Another big difference is that the American Community Survey sample size, as I said much before, is much larger, about 3.5 million addresses, whereas the Puerto Rico Community Survey is much smaller, and it samples 36,000 addresses throughout the island. So let's talk about the differences between these two surveys and the decennial census. So the ACS and the PRCS estimates are based on a sample of the population, as I just mentioned, whereas the census, the decennial census, is based on the official count of the entire population. The ACS and PRCS collect information that previously appeared on the census long form, so that's that detailed social, economic, housing, and demographic characteristics, whereas the census collects basic demographics via the short form. So that's, again, just age, sex, race, Hispanic origin, housing tenure, etc. The ACS and PRCS produce population and housing characteristics, whereas the decennial census produces population and housing totals. And of course, the ACS and PRCS occurs annually and reflects a period of time over which the data is collected, whereas the census occurs every 10 years and reflects a point in time, which is usually Census Day or April 1st. So when you put all this information together and you organize it in a way that works best for your research, you can do things like look at how the population is aging. We can look at health insurance coverage by age. Is that increasing? Is that decreasing? Is it staying the same? We can look at populations 65 and older who are living alone. Does that merit some attention? And if you look on the other side, we can look at data like the number of children living in poverty or grandparents that are caregivers. Clearly, these are just some of the trends that you can track observing the ACS as well as the PRCS. So let's look at some examples. So this is a quick snapshot that I got from data.census.gov, and I'll take you there and we'll look at this more in depth. But this is just information about Puerto Rico on paper. The population, 3.2 million. So you see why we're not sampling 3.5 million addresses, right? Educational attainment, almost 30% of the island has a bachelor's degree or higher. There are 1.5 million housing units, 47,000 employer establishments on the island. The average household income in Puerto Rico is $24,000. The employment rate, 41.9. Health insurance, there are 5% of the islanders without health care coverage. And which is no surprise, there are over 3.2 million people on the island that identify as Hispanic or Latino. Now, one thing I want you to note about this page, and you'll see it when we go live, is that it gives you the information and it also lets you know what table it was and what survey it was extracted from. So we see that the populations of the people is table number P1, and that was extracted from the 2020 census. We see that the education information came from the 2022 ACS estimates, et cetera, et cetera. So then here we're showcasing the population by age and sex in Puerto Rico. So what was the average age of Puerto Rico according to the 2021 5-year estimate? So at the time of these estimates, the age group for men with the largest population was 20 to 24 years of age with just over 115,000. Whereas the age group for women with the largest population was 60 to 64 years of age with more than 120,000. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. Now you can find this visualization on data.census.gov as well in the Puerto Rico profile page, and I'll show you where you can find that. Let's talk about veterans. So here we have the number of veterans living in the municipio of Manatí, where my family's from. This is a snapshot from the dashboard view found on QuickFacts. So the QuickFacts data access tool provides users with easy access to like basic population, business, and geography stats for all states and counties, and for cities and towns with a population of more than 5,000 people. It is awesome for making quick comparisons between 2 to 5 geographies, and it's super easy to use. I'll show you that later. So in this view, you can see a table, a map, and a chart for my selected geography, which is Manatí. I tend to pick Manatí a lot. While the map and the chart specifically show veterans residing in nearby municipios. Probably my favorite, if you joined me yesterday, you know I have a funny story, or I think it's funny, about Census Business Builder, but this is designed for users needing data such as potential customers, similar businesses, and consumer spending to help start or grow a business or to better understand an area's business landscape. So my story was that my family is from Manatí, and we're from a little place in Manatí called El Cantito, and we were deciding to open up a restaurant in Puerto Rico, and we weren't sure where to do it, so we used Census Business Builder to determine what our competition looked like in the areas, what the consumer spending looked like based on what we wanted to spend and what people could actually afford, the saturation of the business within our desired area, and a whole lot of other things. And when all was said and done, we were able to make a really, really educated decision, and we decided to open up El Cantito Cafe in Yonkers, New York, instead of Puerto Rico. But without the tool, we might not have had the insight that we needed to make such an educated decision. So I'll show you Census Business Builder today as well. So here I'm showcasing the percent of households receiving food stamps or SNAP broken up by municipio. And I got this from data.census.gov as well. So we can see that the darker the blue, the higher the percentage of food stamps or SNAP recipients, right? So in the San Juan area, we can expect to see that white concentration because, as we know, this is tourist central and the cost of living in this area is expected to be much higher. So we're not surprised that there aren't many food stamps or SNAP recipients in that area, right? But let's look at the other places around the island. Look at the lighter areas throughout Puerto Rico. And you guys that are on the island, do you see any trends? I wonder if there's a relation to the location of the airport and the increase in property acquisitions in those areas. I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence or maybe it's just me. Check it out. So we're going to go to our data tools and resources. I'm going to go and show you how to get information like this online. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this will go really, really smoothly. And we are going to share here. You should be able to see my screen. So this is census.gov. This is our main website. So if you're looking for information on data, your best bet is to hover over where it says data and maps. And then you can go directly to data.census.gov there, or you can view all the data resources. If you click on data tools and apps, it'll take you to the page where all of our data tools and apps are. Or you can also search at the top for what you're looking for. So I want to start today by taking you through Quick Facts. So Quick Facts is very easy to get to, census.gov/quickfacts. And this is the Quick Facts home screen. Now, I'm going to see if I can make my font a little bit larger, and I might have to reduce it later to show you the dashboard. But in any case, this is Quick Facts, and this is the home screen. So the way you start is you just enter your geography in this search area at the top left. So I am going to enter, let's do Vega Baja. And see, you have, it starts populating. Let's do Vega Baja. And it's letting me know that we're going to Puerto Rico, and that's 2 different data sets. Little warning. And we can see that we have information from Vega Baja. And just for grins and giggles, let me throw in 2 other places so that we can show the comparison. I wouldn't be right if I didn't include Manatí. And let's do, I don't know, Ponce. So you can see now that in this little table that I have in the bottom, I have information for Ponce, for Manatí, and for Vega Baja, the municipios or counties in Puerto Rico. So you can scroll down and you can look at all of the information that it has to offer. It's that information about age, sex, race, Hispanic origin. Or if you're looking for a specific fact, you can click select a fact and then scroll down to the fact that you're looking for. And it'll bump that fact to the top. So let's say I want to know about who has a bachelor degree or higher. So I can see that in Ponce, Manatí, and Vega Baja, the bachelor's degree or higher percentage of persons aged 25 or older is pretty much, the same all about 29%, almost 29% in Ponce, 23% in Manatí, and 22% in Vega Baja. And then when you scroll down, you'll see that specific fact highlighted in blue as well. Then you can remove certain geographies. You can add more geographies, like I said, up to 5. And you can view the dashboard. This is one of my favorite views. So if you click on dashboard and you choose a geography, I'm going to pick, who's going to guess? Manatí. And you let that load. It's very important, and I'm going to say this now, and I'll say it probably 1,000 times. You have to let the information load. There's a lot of information, and typically when we're dealing with Puerto Rico data, you have to just be patient with the system. And if you're in a browser and it's just not working for you, try refreshing and try another browser. But above all, just be patient with us. We have a lot of information we're trying to organize with you. So this is the dashboard view. So we see the table that we saw in that table view for just Manatí. We see a map of that information along with other municipios in the area. And then we see a chart with that information as well. And if you want to switch out, now I don't want to do Manatí anymore. I want to go somewhere else. I'll go back to that dashboard, and now I just want to check Vega Baja. And now the information has changed to Vega Baja, though the map is still the same because you know why. And one last thing that I want to show you about QuickFacts is that if you click on this More section, this is where it'll give you the options to print, to download a CSV or an Excel file, or email the information. So that is QuickFacts. Like I said, it's really, really easy. If you want to start over, you can just go ahead and pick your location, or you can just start Xing out geographies, whatever works best for you. But again, as you see, the wheels are turning. You have to be patient with the data. So the next place I want to take you to is data.census.gov. So I'm going to click on my favorites bar, which I typically like to do. But again, you access this page by going to data.census.gov. And this is the Explore Census Data web page. This is the main hub where you're going to be able to access all of our surveys, all of our censuses, different years, different tables, profiles, microdata. This is the hub. So the first thing I want to show you is that profile page of Puerto Rico, like I told you. So I'm going to start in this search part, and I'm going to type in Puerto Rico, and you'll see that it starts populating, right? And I'm just going to click on Puerto Rico as a whole, and I'm going to be patient and let it load, right? Now, as this loads, it is going to give me all of the information that is available on Puerto Rico in this format. So it'll give me the tables, the maps, the profiles, and the pages. So you'll see the profile right here on the side, on the right-hand side with the little map. So I'm going to click at the bottom on View Profiles. And this is where I like to call Puerto Rico's resume. This is where all the information about Puerto Rico is readily accessible and clickable for you to fall down the rabbit hole that is census data. So we start with this little blurb. Puerto Rico has a land area of 3.3 square miles, is 3,423.3 square miles, and the water area of 1,900.1 square miles. And when we scroll down, we'll see more information like I showed you on that one slide. And as I mentioned, it'll tell you what survey it was from, and then it'll allow you to click on it as well. So you can go ahead and get more information on education by clicking on S1501, which is the table ID, and you can go right to the table for that information. Also, as you scroll down, you're gonna get like this little bar at the top, populations and people, income and property, education, and you can skip through to the topic that you're interested in or not, or you can scroll down. Just remember to be mindful that you have to be patient because data and visualizations are loading, and especially when it's for Puerto Rico, for some reason, it just takes longer. So here's the population by age and sex, language spoken at home, and a bunch more information. I'm just going to skip around. I'm going to go down to income and poverty. When I do that, it's just going to scroll down to the income and poverty section. And we're going to wait till it loads again. Now, while that's loading, this map is clickable. If I click on it, it'll give me all of the data and tables that is available for Puerto Rico. So we have income and poverty data, business and economy, health. Just for time's sake with this loading up, I'm not going to go deeply into the page anymore, but I'll definitely encourage you to check out the Puerto Rico profile page because it is pretty cool. There's a lot of information there that is what we might consider obvious, but you know, sometimes when you look at the numbers, it just makes it all that much more real. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to show you, without using the profile feature, how you can access data for Puerto Rico. So what I did before when I typed in Puerto Rico was just a cursory search. We're going to click on advanced search this time. And this is our advanced search screen. Again, we're waiting for this to load. We're being patient. On the left-hand side is where we're going to be working. These are our filters. And while it's loading, I'll let you know why I like this section, and I think of this section as a supermarket and the search feature or the filter feature as a shopping cart. If you've heard me talk about this, you've heard me give this example. But when you're selecting your features, your filters, you want to start by selecting a filter. Actually, now, of course, it's ready for me. So we'll go ahead, let's start. We are gonna look for information about the counties, let's say the median income value or the median housing value in Puerto Rico. And I want that information by municipio. So we know that we're looking for the information by county, right? Because it's municipios. And then I can choose which state or which property, which territory I want to look at. I can look at all counties within the U.S. and Puerto Rico. That's a lot of information. Or I can start searching and type Puerto Rico and click on it. Or I can scroll down as well. Now, I want all counties within Puerto Rico. You can, of course, choose as many counties as you'd like to highlight or just the one. But for this example, I want all counties in Puerto Rico. Now, if you look at the left-hand side, you see where it says all counties within Puerto Rico. The reason I like to think of this as a shopping basket is that sometimes you choose that filter and you don't know where to go. So you might want to click search. But if you think of it as a shopping basket, you don't check out after everything that you put in the basket, right? You fill up your basket with everything that you need. So after visiting my geography aisle, I am going to go to my, my topics aisle. So we are looking for information on housing, right? So I'm going to click directly on higher housing, and I'm going to go to financial characteristics, and I'm looking for housing value and purchase price, and here it is. So now we're going to look at my shopping cart and see where we are with it, because I believe that I have shopped for everything that I want. My cart or my basket is full, and now I'm ready to check out. Now, of course, you can select as many filters as you need to, but just remember, the more filters you select, the less results you will get because it'll be much more refined. But you're free to select as many filters that works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and check out by clicking on search. And now I have information that match my filters. I have it in the form of tables. I have it in the form of maps. I have it in the form of profiles or pages. So I'm looking for a table called median value in dollars. And here it is, median value in dollars. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now I'm going to, this little chevron here, I'm going to move it over because I don't need that anymore. Now, with this table, I can see the median value in dollars for all municipios in Puerto Rico, the average. So I can scroll across and look at it that way, but it's a lot, right? So for my preference, I'd like to personalize this experience, right? So I might choose to transpose my table, or maybe I'm not interested in the margin of error. So I want to remove that. Or maybe I want to add different geographies or different data sets or different years. Whatever you like, you make it your own. The only thing you can't change is the numbers. You can download from here to an Excel file, to a CSV file, to a zip file. You can share as well. And if you click on More Tools, you'll be able to see that information in the form of a map. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we're going to wait for this map to load, right? We're being patient. Once it loads, it'll be nice and color-coded by median value in dollars by municipio in Puerto Rico. Look how pretty. Now, even here, as it looks like there were only 11 geographies that were included in this estimate. And you can go into the table and you can get the details as to why. You can also change the colors. You can identify this, personalize this however you might like. So that's census, data.census.gov. There's, like I said, there's tons of information that you can get from here. If we look at some of the other results, we can look at the financial characteristics. We can look at actual values. We can look at tons, like I said, tons and tons and tons of information that you might want to lose yourself in. So now I'm going to take you to Census Business Builder, and I'll show you how that works. And I like to cheat. I just type in Census Business Builder. But if you go to that, actually, I'll show you the way I should be showing you. You can go to census.gov. And what I like to do is I'll just type Census Business Builder. And it helps when you spell it correctly, right? And I'll search it. And it'll take me right to the link for it. So you click on that. And what I suggest is definitely save it under your favorites if it's something that you like. So this is the Census Business Builder homepage. It'll give you information on the tool, how to use it, different variables. When you click on here, version 5.3, Census Business Builder. I know I'm moving quickly, but the website is cbb.census.gov. So this is where Census Business Builder starts you. So we can take a tour, or we'll start with information. So let's look for information on, let's follow my family's church. So we're from Manatí, and we thought that we were going to open this restaurant in Manatí, right? So we're going to start by typing in Manatí, and we'll wait for that to load so that we can select it. Now, Census Business Builder there's a lot of information here as well. And with it being for Puerto Rico, we expect that it to be taking this long. But again, just be patient and it'll get there. And I think I may be being a little impatient. So I'm gonna go directly to Puerto Rico instead. There we go. So as that loads, here is information about Puerto Rico. It'll give you a regional view of the island, and it's going to load up. So let's load up. And by default, it's giving you information. Now, as it's loading up, it's giving you information for all sectors of businesses, and it's giving you the number of establishments. Now, it's giving it to you by, oh, that's why it's not loading up, duh. It's giving it to you by state, and we know Puerto Rico is not a state. So right here, you can click county. And of course, that will give you the information by municipio. So as it was loading, and now I can interrupt it again and it'll load longer.
Noelia?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think we are seeing what you are seeing on your side.
Aha.
Share.
Let me double, I'm sorry about that. Thank you. So this is Puerto Rico. And what we did was we searched for the location. We put in the location in the very beginning of the page. And I'm not going to go back and reload it just in the interest of time, but it really was just going to cbb.census.gov. And the first thing it asks you for is your location or to take a tour. So here we have the breakdown of establishments in Puerto Rico as a whole, and it's broken down by municipio or county. If you hover over certain counties, you can see what the total number of establishments is there. So now, the fact that it defaulted to establishment, it really is just a default, but you can change these filters. So you can look for certain industries only. So in our case, we look for restaurants. Look for restaurants and other eating places. And we wanted to know where those were. Okay, so as that loads, you can also change your secondary variable. So right here, we're looking for establishments that are restaurants in Puerto Rico by county. So as that loads, you'll be able to see more information. You can also zoom in, kind of get a better picture. And you can also click on the different municipios. But the other cool feature about Census Business Builder is the detailed view and the business report that it gives you. So if you click on the detailed view at the lower left hand of the side of the screen, it'll give you this information in the form of a report. And again, we're going to allow that to load. I apologize for the delay. Sorry, one more time. And it looks like it's freezing a little bit. So in the interest of time, basically the detailed view gives you information about the region you've selected in the form of consumer spending, how much people in that area are spending, what they're spending it on, how much they're spending on liquor, how much they're spending on food, how much they're spending on clothes, what their median income is, how many other restaurants are in that area, how many restaurants are in the area, and how many people do they employ? What is the average size of the establishments in that area? Where are people actually going to eat? So all of these factors are available in a regional view, in the detailed view, and you can also download that information and study it in order to make informed decisions. So again, I apologize that this is still loading, but before we run out of time, I'm gonna go back to our, okay, we should be good to go now. So those were our data tools and resources. Again, if you have questions about how to use those, you can definitely contact me directly and we'll talk through those. So I went through Explore Census Data. I showed you how to use that. I went through Quick Facts. I went through Census, and I went through Quick Facts. I went through Census Survey Explorer. I went through Census Business Builder and Census Academy. So Census Academy is where we would go to request other trainings. You can check out our videos and data gems on how to use census data, how to access census data. You can view different webinars that we have recorded. You can request information. And then with Census Survey Explorer, which I have highlighted here, this is a tool that unfortunately is out of service right now. They are repairing it, but this is a super cool tool because if you're not even sure where to start or what survey to use, and you just know your topic or whatever the case may be, you can type that in, and once you hit your search, it'll let you know all of the surveys that include those topics so you know where to start your search. So definitely check out these tools, but check out all of the other tools as well. And if you have questions, again, we're always available to help you, guide you through it, to give you pointers, and definitely check out Census Academy for those things. So speaking of Census Academy, like I said, it's a fairly new virtual hub, and again, it aims to inform you about how to make use of the data that we collect. There's free digital content, particularly courses, webinars, and instructional videos that provide information on how individuals can access and use census data. So with Census Academy, we can show you, again, how to find and use data for your everyday uses. You can use it for your business plan, research projects, planning services, a bunch more. So whether it's economic or demographic data, Census Academy can teach you how to get what you need for your various projects. You can also contact us at census.askdata@census.com. I'm sorry, census.gov, or you can call us at 844-ASK-DATA. So it is time for questions. Before we go, this is my information. If you have any questions that you're not able to get to here, or if you think of something later, you can contact me directly at noelia.ana.musignac@census.gov. Also, if you take a screenshot, if you check out this QR code, it'll take you to where you can request information or training. So as promised, go ahead and check the line for questions. Let's see. Q&A. So I'm going to start with, I'm trying to read through the questions. What happens? It's hard to read through the questions, guys. Did they really be from Ireland or England? I'm going to try and read through these. We've got a couple of comments. Okay, I don't think that I can see any questions. I cannot click on the Okay, so any technical questions that we have with using this tool right now at this moment, I can definitely, you can definitely email me and I can help you get through that. Can we download data through API? We might. There is a data that is available through API. I'll let you know exactly how you can do that. Once I have these questions, what I'll do is I'll go through them individually. There's a lot. I have 116 comments here. But is there a way to merge municipios to create tailored clusters? Yes, you can do that. You can kind of join them together depending on which tool you're using, and you can get information completely. Can you research healthcare data on PR? Yes, you can research healthcare data on Puerto Rico. You can use the data.census.gov feature, and you can go right to the healthcare information. If you go to the profile page and go right to healthcare, it'll give you a bunch of information that's available there. Or you can go to the advanced search and you can look for that as well, look for it there as well. Hi, I noticed that PR and US data are separate when loading. What difficulty do you have integrating them and how do you overcome them? So depending on how you're looking at integrating them, it might just be a matter of having two tables that need to be merged, or it may be easier or may be a little bit more difficult, but it would definitely depend. But if you have questions on that, I will definitely look to answer them for you. So I think I got through as many questions as I can. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where we're at with it. And again, I apologize for any of the technical difficulties. It's the internet, right? So if there are no more questions, again, here is my information for you to reach me. Noelia.ana.musignac@census.gov. You can email me directly. Now, remember, we have several more webinars coming up. I believe Lisa dropped the link in the chat. If you haven't registered for those, definitely register for them. We have a lot of information that we're willing to share with you guys. And also, there's going to be a link for feedback. Like I said, it's in the chat. And when you click on it, it's going to open up in another tab. It's safe to click on it. Let me know how we did. Did I do a good job? Did I not do a good job? Was the information you're looking for helpful? Was it not? Was the delivery helpful? Did you hear me okay? Let us know where we did well, where we didn't do well, so that we can make sure that we're always providing you trainings that work for you, that are relevant to you, and can be heard well and seen well. So that is all I got. Thank you, everyone, for attending and having an interest about the important data that the Census Bureau collects and how it collects data from Puerto Rico. Thank you again for joining me today. I always like to close with something. Remember that without data, you're just another person with an opinion, and we know what those are. Lisa, do you have anything before we go?
No, I think we're just going to go ahead and close out today's webinar. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.